So then, I apologize, it cut off, so I had to do a part two. But then, after I rectified my hit list of what I did, I was like, shoot, I better document this process because there's going to be other people that are losing their credit score from the same situations. So there's something that I used to do back in the day, and I don't know if they have it, but they had insurance. So if you lost your job or something happened to you adverse, the insurance would pay your credit for you. Now, I don't know about mortgage, but I'm just saying, I'm going to throw that tidbit out there that there is insurance that you can purchase. So if something happened to you and you're not able to pay your creditors, the insurance will kick in so you're not late and you don't have to incur bad credit. Okay, back to the mortgage. Okay, step number one, I disputed it with documentation. The documentation that I sent in was a letter that I used from ChatGPT explaining the circumstance and situation and how I was going to rectify it and taking full accountability, not blaming anybody or cursing anyone or anything like that. Hey, I was late on my mortgage. I will do automatic payments from now on. It was an oversight. I apologize for the 12-year history, blah, blah, blah. So I did that. That's number one. So when I disputed it, I had that information. I also showed screenshots from USPS of when I received the information that my payment was late. I also showed proof of when it was posted on my credit, which I felt like was conflicting information, but that's what I sent in for that. I also sent in the payment that I made. I also sent in proof that I set up an automatic pay. I sent in all those documents, okay? So I disputed it that way with that information. And then after that information, I sent a letter to the CEO, adding all that detail and context using ChatGPT again to not only write a letter, but also write the email for me so I could do it in a proper professional tone and let them know what I was requesting. Same thing. Hey, I'm going to do automatic pays going forward. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It is completely on me. It's my fault. Da, 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 all the things. Okay. So then I also communicated via phone to the creditor and asked them to make sure they made a note, and they called back in and talked to somebody else and made them read the note to me to make sure the representative before that person did take that note. Hey, listen, I'm trying to rectify this. 4 different people, 4 different days, 4 different times told me they can't do anything for me. They don't have the good faith credit situation. I was late. They reported it. That was it. That was final. 4 different representatives with the company. And that doesn't mean the company's bad or they're bad or anything like that. They probably were doing their job. So that was the 3 steps I took. Dispute, talk to the creditor, email the president. Okay? But then my little loophole I was telling y'all about, right? I was like, come on, guys. Like, I know y'all sent me this letter, but you had already done what you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me time to rectify. Had I had gotten this letter in May, I would have handled it in May. Come on, you know. So I found that letter from the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, right? Because I know people like to eat me up in the comments like, you said Washington, D.C. was a state. It's a district. Nothing more, nothing. Shut up. Anyway, so the Fair Credit Reporting Act states that you should have time to rectify things before it's reported to the credit bureau. So I threw that in there. I don't know if that worked or not. To be honest with you, I think it was the boss, the CEO, but we don't know. So what the credit bureau sent back to me, right, to give me my 110 points back, and that was 110 points on Equifax, and it was like 70 something points or 80 points or so on TransUnion, and then like another 80 or so on Experian. So just so you know, the 110 points came from Equifax. Anyway, so I, where was I? Oh yeah. So I, I, I was like, okay, so all that stuff was working, and then I found that letter, but I also did another thing, okay? I created a plan and a schedule, so if something like this were to ever happen again, what to do. So automatic pays are automatic pays, but what if there's no money in the bank account? Like, what should we do? So, of course, I have a calendar, notifications, an alarm, all the things, okay? Because we're not doing this again. because I have multiple mortgages that I need to pay, and I can't do my renters like that. And I don't want to do myself like that. Okay, so the credit bureaus contacted me and stated, "Hey, your payment history has been updated." And then that's when I checked and was like, "Oh, it was updated," meaning that it was showing that I paid on time. And oh, you talk about winning the lottery and the jackpot. Okay, I was so happy. It was not just to see that my credit score went back up, because I wasn't using my credit score at that moment, in that moment. But okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Okay, there's a spiritual backdrop to this as well. The day before I received the information from the credit bureau, I sat down with a young lady, and her husband fixes credit for some high profile people. Without name dropping, just know that they're extremely public people. And I was going to pay, or consider paying him $1,500 to fix my credit. I also had a wire out to another gentleman who had a man that worked for the credit bureaus previously, who was going to help me with my credit. I also, listen, I was out here like, hey, hello, hey, it's your sister with the sign, will work for credit. Anyway, so right when I was deciding to reach out to the woman's husband to say, "Hey, look, I'm ready to pay this $1,500, I received the information from the credit bureaus themselves. Like, "Hey, this has been rectified. You're good." And you guys do not know how that saved my life. That I did not necessarily, it wasn't just the $1,500, which I think is extremely expensive, especially when there's a lot of stuff you can do on your own. But to be honest with you, hey, listen, your fee is your fee. It costs what it costs. And if you charge that much for credit repair, and you've got the headaches of customers, because I know how that can be. There's people out here, you will fix their credit, they'll go buy some stuff. They're like, "Dude, we were trying to buy a house, we were trying to buy a truck, we're trying to get this $2 million loan, and you went and got a refrigerator." That's what we're doing. So I get it on both sides. So, but I was going to come out of pocket for no reason. And God was like, "Bro, you do not have to do that. I love you. Don't do it." So that's the spiritual side, that thank God I was able to listen and hear God and be willing to be accountable, but not at the detriment of me making a foolish decision on top of another foolish decision not to pay my mortgage on time. So those are the steps. Really simple. Communicate, dispute, communicate. That was my steps. Now, to this hour, I do not know what worked, but in the description of this video, I'll make sure to put the Fair Credit Reporting Act information that I found, and the loophole that I found in reference to a creditor giving you enough time to rectify the current situation before they report it to the credit bureaus. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please comment. Please like. Please share if it resonates with you. And then also, please understand that in this particular playlist, you're going to see more videos like this, so you can be the one who's mastering your losses. Thanks for tuning in.